Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rory Reid from RoryReidArt, and today we have another piece that we're working on, another figurative piece of a woman here. As you can see, I'm gonna start off as usual by doing a quick outline in a dark color. The color I'm using mostly for this piece is Payne's Gray, different values, you know, from darkest to lightest. And just wanted to do something semi-monochromatic. I do add a little bit of orange tones in there as we go, so a little bit of cat orange, and you know, that will play into the title of the piece, as you'll see once it's done. So I begin by putting in some of the background here, the darkest color that's going to be in the painting, and from there I work on the dropping in some of the shadows for the figure. And we do this just to set a flat line for the darkest color, and then once we work on the form, we'll blend it into the background by adjusting the tones and such. I mean the values, you know, and whatnot. So this piece progressed pretty fast. As I said, if it's just one color I was working with mostly, then there's not too much to it. You just, you know, put your values where they need to be to flesh out the forms. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. So these monochromatic pieces are good for practicing, you know, getting your values accurate, and learning how to recognize different values from your reference. So the reference I was using was a color reference, and then in my mind I just, you know, pretty much transferred it to black and white. And working from the black and white image in my mind, if that makes sense, I was able to use the different values of the Payne's Gray to place them where they needed to be. This is a good practice, as I said, to work on, you know, being accurate with what you see from your reference photo and transferring it to the canvas. So usually I start working on the face because, you know, it usually takes more time, but this time I decided to just work on the foreground, like the bottom of the canvas where the legs are, and then you know, move up from there. And that's more, not really a strategy behind that, that's just more so to have a, you know, keep things you know, and have some variety in the in my work. If I spend the last 5 pieces beginning with the face, then for this one I'll just switch it up, and if I get bored of that, and start with the legs or start with the background, just to keep things interesting, you know what I mean? And so yeah, this piece is as you can see, is the torso of a woman with like a semi see-through lingerie on, I guess it is, and very expressive piece. Wanted to keep it loose as well, put a bit of loose elements and brush strokes in the background just to add some variety also. And the piece is just fleshing out beautifully, man. I've always loved this aesthetic, the Payne's Gray monochromatic piece. This was back in high school when I was painting a very long time ago, in like the late 90s, early 2000s. One of my very first pieces I can remember painting in my painting class was a monochromatic piece. It was like a portrait of an Asian woman. I think I still have it laying around somewhere. Maybe one day I'll put that on the channel for you to see, but it was in this same style, and you know, it wasn't as good as I paint now, but I've always stuck with this monochromatic style here. It's very visually appealing to me. And you can do different things with it. So for example, like you can add some green to the base mixture and have the piece be on the more greener side or the more bluer side. Even you could go a little bit more purplish too. Is you know, flexible in that way. As you can see, this one, this mixture I'm using here that I created from scratch is more of a slight hint of green, probably not even recognizable to the untrained eye, but yeah, it's a mixture of just Mars black I used, and then ultramarine blue, and then a little bit of sap green, I believe it was, so to just get this slight unnoticeable green hint. So it creates a nice little color to work with. Here I start to spend more time on the face, define it a little bit more, and once that is done, we're almost close to the end. As you can see, I added in some orange elements as well because I had planned to spend a bit more time on this to put some warmer color, or the orange color, the warm orange color in the shadows, but eventually I scrapped it because I didn't want to lose the overall cool tone of the piece. So here is where I added it, and as I progressed from this point in the painting, I went back to using the Payne's Gray mixture to just recool the temperature of the piece, and so as the orange tones just, you know, remained in there slightly. They weren't as pronounced as you see them previously, and you can see me doing that now on the leg, just leaving slight hints in some of the shadow areas. And then it created a very interesting dynamic. So in the future, I'm definitely going to be working with this concept a bit more, warm shadows, cool highlights, or vice versa. But for this particular piece, I'd already loved where it was with just the strong, cool temperature overtones, so decided to just leave it that way. And you know, for any future piece I'll experiment on that one, because I, you know, love this painting where it was now. Didn't even do much definition on the hands there, as you can see, because in doing these figurative pieces, a habit I fell into was just keeping a focal point somewhere. So you can see on this piece, the lower half of the body is more pronounced, and then you have the gaze in the eyes as well. That's pretty out there as well as a point of interest. And so from this point on, I'm just touching things up, smoothing out some areas, making sure to leave some good expressive brush strokes and elements in there as well. And then to close the piece out, we're going to focus on getting the highlights up to where they need to be, just to add that punch that we need to make the painting, the contrast on the overall piece, stand out. The background color, as you can see, was the darkest dark, and it matches with the dark spots of the lingerie and the hair. And then the highlights we're gonna, you know, punch up. And here is the final piece. I called it Monochromatic Subterfuge to indicate that there was some other color snuck in there unbeknownst to the viewer. Hope you guys like it. Also, I have uploaded a couple designs to Teespring. You can find them at teespring.com/stores/RoryReidArt. If you want to support the channel, you can cop a t-shirt or a hoodie, anything you like. And also follow me on all social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. And yeah, like and subscribe to the channel also. All my links are going to be down below in the description. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back with another video. Peace.